Hello everyone, it's Shane Kanto, your Wasteland reviewer, and I'm here to review First Reformed, which is the new film by Paul Schrader and starring Ethan Hawke, who plays a priest at the First Reformed Church, dealing with not only his own past and the slow deterioration of his church, but also dealing with a young couple who bring in a lot of new ideas and new passions into his life in terms of the environment, which I have to say from the trailer of this film, they hint at that kind of like environmental, like warrior kind of thing, but this film really digs deep into that, and I think the trailer probably should have done that a little bit more. But I'm not here to review the trailer, I'm here to review the film. And Paul Schrader does such a great job of creating a wholly realized film here. Consistently throughout this film, you know the tone, you know the pacing, you know how this film's going to feel, the atmosphere. It's very stark, it's very powerful at moments, and it's just, you could feel like this has a distinct feel. This is First Reform. This is this film, and it's like it's very unique kind of thing where it's like you watch this film and it's like this is a unique film. This is an original film, and this feels like this is its own thing. And Paul Schrader does a great job of creating that. And this is a very intriguing and deep film as it takes this character and really morphs him throughout the film, and you really get a sense of his demons and what's going on with him, and how all of these new interactions in his life are creating a new person and taking him to another place and really building him up to a climax. And this film creates such an engaging story because you see something really affect this man, and you see how it affects everything in his life. What's his passion, what's his focus, and really shifting gears and really making him make tough decisions and think about making some really, really tough decisions. And this film is so atmospheric, especially with the score by Brian Williams. It's unnerving, it could be creepy, and that's the thing about this film. It's like this isn't like a horror film at all, but it has such a vibe that's so atmospheric and unsettling that it's like it's more for the drama. It's there to really make you feel about what's going on here. And how this is shot by Alexander Diane with this aspect ratio that's very like boxy, like a ghost story. And it's a very interesting way of showing it. It makes it feel very retro, which this film feels really retro. It takes place in modern time, but it doesn't really need to. It feels like this could take place despite some technology, but like the feel of it feels like this could be an older film. And it's so beautiful the way that they hold certain shots, how everything is so precisely put into frame throughout this film, and it's marvelous to look at, and it has a very stark, gloomy sense of lighting and everything, but that's done to the point of like this is a dark film, and it drills you deep into the story. And Ethan Hawke is fantastic. He does such a fantastic job as his leading character, bringing depth and passion, and you really feel the emotion boiling under him until it's the point where it's like he finally can let it out, and you can see him reserved and passionate and compassionate and loving, and you see him driven beyond what's really inside him and just like explosive. And the other cast, like Amanda Seyfried, I'm not a huge fan of. I thought she did a nice job in this film. I think she carried her way. And there's one particular scene between the two of them that you could easily thought that this was going to go in a very different direction. But what they're able to do with it, they build such a connection physically in frame that it makes for a very powerful scene. And visually, it's absolutely stunning. Cedric the Entertainer's in this, and I'm like, that's gonna be weird, but like the character that he plays, this head of this other church that's like one of those like 5,000 seaters, it's like let's put it on TV. I can see him be that reverend, and he really plays it well, and he's not over the top. And Michael Gaston, who plays this guy who's like a proprietor of these churches who gives money, him and Ethan Hawke have a very powerful scene in a diner, and it was one of the most tense scenes in this film, and I absolutely love that scene. It really hit home for me. Now, my biggest issue with this film is that the film gets very on the nose with its themes, which this is a very deep film and it really delves deep into the ideas of environmentalism and being eco warriors and sticking up for the environment, and where environmentalism fits in with religion, and is that something that you should have to do as somebody who's truly religious and wanting to stand up for the world that God has created for us. And there's points where it's just like thrown in your face though, and that took me out of the film quite a bit. There's one particular sequence where it was like really like in your face, like blah 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 statistics, blah 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 blah. It's just like, okay, we get it. This is how you feel. This is what we're supposed to feel. Calm down. And that one particular scene was a bit much for me. And then the very end, the very last shots of this film, I thought didn't really click. And I felt like they could have cut a little bit sooner, and I feel like it would have been a more impactful ending. But overall, this is a fantastic film. Paul Schrader makes a wonderful film. I would love to see Ethan Hawke get some Oscar buzz at some point at the end of the year. We'll see with what else comes out. And overall, I think this is a fantastic film, and I do think that this should at least be getting some of that early award season buzz, because this is a really well done film. I had to wait about a month since its original release for this to finally come around to my area, and it was really worth the wait. And I would really encourage you to go find this in theaters and go see it. I think the experience in a theater would be really impactful for this film, and support a small film like this. Go to a small theater. I saw the Princeton Garden Theater. I really encourage you to go out there, and like this is like a summer treat. Technically end of spring, early summer treat that's like you might expect a film like this during like October, November, December because of award season. But go check this out. If you can find this near you, I'd really highly encourage it. If you're really into film, this might not be the best film for somebody that's just like, I want to enjoy like going out to the movies, kind of mainstream kind of cinema goer. But for you cinephiles out there, this is a great one, and don't miss it.